You are Locked On Tigers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Detroit on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Oh, baby, what a win. I mean, you couldn't draw it up any better. This game had it all, and the Detroit Tigers come out on top over the Kansas City Royals. The type of game that you remember all season. Welcome into a live Locked On Tigers postcast. I don't know if you can tell or not, but fired up to be with you tonight. My name is Jake Riepma. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at Jake_Riepma. And this is what the live Locked On Tigers postcasts were made for. Instant reaction after a thrilling victory over the Kansas City Royals, combined with a Twins loss. And I'm just going to go ahead and say it, ladies and gentlemen. The team of destiny is the type of night you remember. Monday, September 16th on the road at Kauffman Stadium. And oh man, we're going to get into all of it. This team showed no quit. This team showed the comeback cats, the cardiac cats. The bullpen got it done, clutch hitting. And like I said, the Twins lost as well. So we'll go through the wild card updates and the latest from the MLB scoreboards. But as always, we thank you for making Locked On Tigers postcast your post-game destination following the final out after thrilling epic victories like we had tonight. And as always, it's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, free and available wherever you get your podcasts, and of course on YouTube, Locked On Sports Detroit. Now, do me a favor, subscribe to Locked On Sports Detroit and be a part of this incredible journey and how much fun this race has been and will continue to be. You don't want to miss anything, so make sure you subscribe. I believe we can get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the regular season. And like I mentioned, it's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team each and every day. This episode of the Locked On Tigers postcast is brought to you by Prize Picks. That's right. Prize Picks is the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. So go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use code all lowercase LockedOn. That's LOCKEDONMLB to win $50 instantly when you play just $5. You don't even have to win. It's guaranteed. Now, this one did not feel like it was guaranteed for quite some time. You talk about the disaster start for the Detroit Tigers tonight. It was Reese Olson making his first start in quite some time. Great to see him back. And as I was texting with a lot of buddies during this game, which shout out to the real ones. I'm going to say this right away. And there's probably some people watching that have been with us through August and maybe even before that in the trade deadline in July, when you had Kenta Maeda giving up 50 runs a game at the beginning of the season, when you had Gio Urshela at third base, when you had Alex Lang getting sent down because he threw a hissy fit on the mound. We've been through a lot this season, and it's culminated into a legitimate wild card race. So shout out to the real ones that have been with us, that were watching games on their phones, on the Gamecast in the month of July, maybe taking care of their kids late at night, and they're still following the Detroit Tigers. This is what it's all about. Your hard work in July, in June, some of those dog days, some of those West Coast trips led us to here. And man, this is very, very exciting. And I'm going to get sidetracked 100 different times tonight, because when I get excited, the brain doesn't work as well. And nothing makes me more excited than Tigers baseball and talking playoff implications and wild card implications and clutch victories on the road for the Detroit Tigers like we had tonight. Now, I see the comment box just loading up. Now, this is going to be one of the rare occasions where we might not get to every single comment, so bear with me. But as I was saying, this game had it all, including a disaster start. Reese Olson, and I said this to a buddy, it felt like those first couple of innings, his stuff was there, but he got into that trouble in the third inning, and it becomes an outing that is defined by one pitch, and that's the hanging breaking ball to Witt Jr., who hit it into the next county. That ball left the bat, and I had a couple of people on Twitter saying I could have hit that out of there. I don't think I personally could. Maybe they mean they could. You know, I really didn't have a good swing back in my day. I was more of a defensive-minded catcher. Yeah, not that anybody cares. But that being said, the Royals go up 4-0 in a big spot. They're at home. The crowd's into it. And what does this Tigers team do? This group of resilient youngsters that don't even know better. That's the best part. It's one of those examples. My father used to talk about this all the time as a football coach. Will make a comparison to baseball, that sometimes young kids they don't know what they don't know. They're young and dumb. Just go out and play the game. And that's what this Tigers team does. And obviously I'm using hyperbole there. I don't mean actually dumb, but just this is such a big spot, and it didn't matter for these young kids. They come right back, and not only, and again, this is a little thing, but we talk about it all the time. To use some baseball guy talk here, so important for after your offense gives you a cushion and a big lead, like a grand slam 4-0 lead, to get that shutdown inning. But to the Tigers' credit, they get a run across. McKinstry gets the triple, and then Sweeney hits the sac fly. And mind you, this is Lugo on the mound. And yes, he's not a legitimate Cy Young candidate, but he is having a tremendous year. He's on the short list of Cy Young candidates if Tarek Skubal wasn't running away with it. But he's been one of the premier starters all season in the American League. And so you scratch one run across in the top of the fourth. Royals come back and make it 5-1. And admittedly, this is where I wasn't checked out. I would never do that, but you start to realize, okay, what are our realistic chances here? If you're into the win probability charts and graphs and everything that the baseball nerds that we all love, we love the baseball nerds, we'll put together. You'll see the win probability goes way down at that point, and then, my friends, in the fifth inning, the Tigers put up a 3 spot. You get Vierling on the infield single, scoring Parker Meadows, and the throwing air from Bobby Witt Jr., who airmailed the throw, trying to make a really nice play. 2 on for Colt Keith, and my goodness, or I beg your pardon, just Vierling was on. So the 2-run shot made it 5-4. What a spot for Colt Keith, especially because he had that he had the ground out with the bases loaded in the top of the third, where the game obviously changed. Tigers leave him loaded, and Bobby Witt Jr. hits the grand slam. So for Colt Keith to come back, hit that home run, what a spot for Colt Keith. You absolutely love to see that. And just, again, the theme of the night, just the young guys getting it done. And for Colt Keith, that's home run number 13 on the season. Pulled the Tigers within 1. And that was the hit that, and maybe I'm overstepping it, but that's where it felt like this Tigers team is a team of destiny. They're going to go win this game after they pulled within 1. So after the 3 spot in the 6th comes, or the 5th comes the 3 spot in the 6th. And this is where I'm jumping up and down, screaming at the TV like a lunatic, because you've got Wenzel Perez doubling home, Andy Ibanez and Jake Rogers score to tie it up at 6. The 2-run double from Wenzel Perez. God, it's good to see him back in the lineup. What a luxury it is to have both him and Andy Ibanez off the bench. And that's another part. AJ Hinch deserves so much credit. I've been his biggest critic. And, at this time, if you want to say I was wrong, I'll wear that completely, because I think he's been the manager of the year during this turnaround and how he's gotten this team to play. And then the birthday boy. How have we gone this long without mentioning the birthday boy? Matt Vierling brings across the go-ahead run to make it 7-6, back-to-back 3-run innings for the Tigers. And shout out to Matt Vierling on his birthday, a 3-hit day and the most clutch RBI of them all to push the Tigers in front. And then it was the bullpen. And maybe it was a little bit dicey at times. Sure, absolutely. But all that matters is this bullpen preserved the winning. Bo Brisky gave me a heart attack. I'm sure he gave each and every one of you a heart attack, and then just nonchalantly reaches back, lights up 100 on the gun to get the strikeout there in the 8th, and then the double play. And again, the hair on the back of my neck are standing up, just recalling that portion of the game, because I was on the edge of my seat. And while we're at it, Jason Foley deserves a lot of credit. And I was texting with my good buddy Jeff Rieger with the Flagship and 97 won the ticket. Like maybe it's Tyler Holton. And no, he said Jason Foley's been really, really good lately. Obviously, Holton has pitched a great deal. I believe it's 3 straight games. So that AJ Hinch goes with Jason Foley, and he gets his 24th save of the season. And nice to have a 1-2-3 9th inning. And we even got to see our old pal Robbie Grossman there in that 9th inning fly out. So what a win for the Tigers. What a freaking night. We're going to talk about the Minnesota Twins game as well. Shout out to Manzardo with that home run. I mean, it was happening as the Tigers were taking the lead. You couldn't write a better script for this. So shout out to each and every one of you tuning in. It's already our most live views we've ever had on a Locked On Tigers postcast, a live Locked On Tigers postcast. And why wouldn't we have that, my friends? This is just incredible stuff. And I know I'm going to say it because I always get corrected. Let me just knock over my microphone there. I always get corrected when I don't mention the tiebreaker. I'm well aware the Twins have the tiebreaker. So now with the Twins loss and the Tigers win, it's at a 1.5, which with the Twins having the tiebreaker, sure, 2.5. But man, what a start to this series. I posed this question on the YouTube community on Locked On Sports Detroit. So make sure you're checking into the YouTube community. Predict the number of wins you expect this Tigers team to get in this huge road series. And what a way to start it with a 7-6 win. I also tweeted out this game was drunk. I mean, this game, you had the Royals third base coach Vance Joseph get ejected. That was wild. And I don't know why. And there's still not a reason of why he got ejected, but he did, and that factored into it because when the Royals had a runner on third with less than 2 outs, you had the fly ball in foul territory, and they didn't send him home. Matt Vierling's throw to the plate was a little bit wide, and it was – and I'm sorry, Vance Wilson, Vance Joseph. I'm so sorry. That's how excited I am tonight. Third base coach Vance Wilson, Vance Joseph, the old Broncos coach, not that guy, having the time of his life. You get what I'm going with there. But Vance Wilson got ejected from this one tonight. So the Royals had a different third base coach in that 8th inning. And I mean, they were afraid of Matt Vierling's strong throwing arm. Why wouldn't they be? But deep breaths. Here we go. What a win for the Tigers. 7-6, the final in this one. 78th win of the season for the Tigers. Now 78-73. Royals fall to 82-69. We are going to get to everyone's comments. There are 53 of them to get to. We will do our absolute best, and maybe not everyone's, but me and my producer, which also happens to be me and our graphics guy, and everybody filtering through all the comments will make sure we pick the best. And that's my fancy way of saying whichever one my eyes fall on. So don't go anywhere. Live Locked On Tigers just getting underway after really probably the most thrilling victory of the season so far, combined with the Twins loss. Here we are. Don't go anywhere. Locked On Tigers will be back in just a moment. This episode of the Locked On Tigers postcast is brought to you by FanDuel. That's right, America's #1 sportsbook and the official betting partner of Major League Baseball. And you know what? At this point, you know the ins and outs of FanDuel. You know you can make your bets, live odds always available at FanDuel.com. You know all that. So how about a little something different from America's #1 sportsbook? We've got it for you. Now, through September 22nd, day before my birthday, I know everybody wants to wish me a happy birthday on September 23rd. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Give that to you one more time because time is running out. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with the YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. And all you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. Just visit FanDuel.com to download America's #1 sportsbook. We got a live Locked On Tigers postcast for you, cruising right along. So happy to have you along. And if you haven't yet, make sure you drop a follow. I'll be sure to follow back at Jake_Riepma on Twitter, on X, whatever we want to call it. I was tweeting nonstop about this game because maybe it helps cope with my anxiety. I'm not really sure, but man, it is fun to connect with everybody when the Tigers are playing this good after a 7-6 win over the Kansas City Royals. Now a 1.5 back as the Minnesota Twins lose to the Cleveland Guardians. Now, it very much pains me to say something positive about the Cleveland Guardians, but hey, They came back at home, and they have a little, obviously they got a little something going, but the 2-run homer in the bottom of the 8th to go ahead and, take the lead after trailing 3-2. And it was the designated hitter for the night, Kyle Manzardo, that gets it done. Clutch. And never been a big Kyle Manzardo fan until tonight with that 2-run homer. And the Guardians beat the Minnesota Twins. The Mariners were off tonight, and so when you pull up the full wild card standings, the Mariners 2 games back, the Tigers a game and a half back. Boston Red Sox have fallen to 4 games back, but still a lot of baseball and a lot of fun ahead. Hopefully a lot of fun. Now, let's finally get to all of the comments. My apologies for waiting this long, because we appreciate every single person that's tuning in to the most exciting live Locked On Tigers postcast we have had just yet. All right, here we go. Top of the hour with Corey Leland. Biggest win of the year. Jordan Ramirez, we're going to the World Series. Book it now. I love it. Caden Geider, what is happening? I'm wondering the same. Kevin, 81. Let's go, boys and girls. We going to the ship. Let's relax a little bit. That my main man, Scott Lannis. Let's freaking go. Zing Dad, all the way. Incredible. What a gutsy win. Kyle Shreen, I hope that regardless of if the Tigers make the playoffs, it's been enough of a showing to convince Illich to spend money this offseason. Probably won't, but hopefully. Yes, that might be I might just do a full segment on exactly that after maybe a game that doesn't go our way and we've got more time, less to break down, because I do want to talk about exactly that, but not tonight. If tonight doesn't signal spend and get the investment level back from ownership, I don't know what will, because this was epic. Gareth Ridings, great comeback win. Absolutely. YouTube user. I didn't know Wenzel Perez was going to be making major contributions to the Tigers lineup this season. The kid is doing a great job. Exactly. I mean, the list of kids that just have contributed to this team. And again, I it's not insulting, but it's the way young guys are wired sometimes, that they just don't know any better. They're just here to play. They recognize the excitement, they seize the moment, and they make the most of it. And that's what we've seen from the Tigers since the trade deadline. Caden Kreider, we sold, by the way. Yes, we did sell at the trade deadline. And Mark Ryan on 97 on the ticket would tell you that that's why we're not winning games. We don't have Jack Flaherty. Rufus Delgado Day Baseball. I remember Bobby Witt from when he lost the Derby to Teoscar. That's right. I had money on Bobby Witt Jr. to win the Home Run Derby, and he was very, very close to winning the Home Run Derby. He did not, and he hit the wall for his final out. All right, I wouldn't know. How about these Detroit Tigers? Everybody been a fan since 1972. Yeah, shout out to the real ones. This is the most exciting I've been since Justin Verlander was pitching. That's right. It does really feel like those. And I remember the 2006 team, and there was those hoodies that said Team of Destiny with the old English D as the D in Destiny. And that's what tonight, I would say this season for the last 2 months in August and September have felt like truly like a team of destiny. I did want to bring this up because one, it's hilarious, and two, I think it's fitting, but the Tigers on August 23rd, 9.5 games back from the 3rd AL wildcard spot. Now, on September 16th, a game and a half back. What happened on August 22nd? Well, that was Javi Baez's last time playing. And I don't want to make this a pick on Javi, but I haven't had to say anything nice about Javi, which has been great. And the Tigers are playing their best brand of baseball without the worst player in baseball. Coincidence? I'll let you be the judge. But all right, we're cruising right along, and Born Cool wants to get on the action. These cats don't quit. Easing my pain from the Lions loss. That's right. We did have a Locked On Lions postcast after that debacle at Ford Field, and this is a great way to distract us from what happened right then. Okay. All right. There are so many other comments to get into. We can break down that last play by Torque as he overran the base. I just listened on the radio. The play with Torque out at third, was that Corey's fault, Jake? I do think that was the third base coach's fault. I think you got to be more of an athlete than what Spencer Torkelson showed there in overrunning the base and then trying to put on the brakes. But it did look like conflicting signs, which is what Jason Benetti and Andy Dirks were talking about as well. It's just the universal language of baseball to at the third base coach, if you want your runner to stop, you're pointing. When you do that again, you're pointing at the bag, and he was trying to get Torque's attention to look at the ball, but it's like you're not sending him, so just get him on the bag. So yeah, I would actually back Torque on that, and he was pretty visibly upset, but didn't come back to haunt him because you got Jason Foley in the ninth going 1, 2, 3. In April, I said that the Detroit Tigers this year is going to be the Baltimore Orioles of last year. There you go. Maybe they do have a little bit of that, and let's hope if they get to the postseason that they have a little bit better showing. All right. Lots to get into. My goodness. Demetrius McNeil, he's a real one. Got to shout him out as well. Believe it or not, Tigers Magic was activated. On top of that, this team has turned it up since August 11th. Hello, postseason. That's what we're looking for. Absolutely. Back to the Spencer Torkelson play. It was 100% Cora's fault. His signals were trash. He was pointing at the ball, then didn't point the bag till Torque was 4 feet off it. Yes, I actually do back Torque on that, which, by the way, if we go up and down this box score, it took an all hands on deck, obviously, but 2 hits for Parker Meadows. Carpenter had the 1 hit before he was pinch hit by Wenzel Perez. Obviously, we know how good he did with 2 RBI, a hit from Matt Vierling or 3 hits from Matt Vierling, in the RBI. Colt Keith with a hit and 2 RBI in the home run. Torkelson with 2 hits. McKinstry with 2 hits, although they might have switched one of those to an error. But just all around collective effort from this team. And that's what it's going to take. That's what it's going to take. So let's look ahead to game 2 tomorrow night at Kauffman Stadium. We'll do a reset of the standings as well. And don't forget, in the finale, that's right, in the series finale, the Tigers have, that's right, Tarek Skubal going on the mound. So we'll look ahead to the rest of the series and continue to break this one down. Don't go anywhere. Alive, Locked On Tigers postcast continues in just a moment. Hey, this episode of the Locked On Tigers postcast is brought to you by Prize Picks. The most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports is on Prize Picks, but don't take my word for it. You got to download the app today. And when you do, use that code Locked On MLB for a first deposit match up to $100. You got to love that from Prize Picks. And the great thing about Prize Picks, it's real simple to play. All you do is pick more or less on a player's projected stat line, and you watch the winnings roll on in. All it takes is 2 to 6 players, as many as 6, and as little as 2 stat projections, more or less. It's that easy. So guys that don't have a lot going on between the years, like myself, can play Prize Picks. It's not real difficult, but it's a lot of fun. And as far as promos, oh yeah, that's right. Prize Picks has got the best promotions. They're always keeping it fresh. How about this one for the month of September? 1 Caleb Williams passing yard gets you 1 win on Prize Picks every week in September. That's free W's. That's right. Only 1 yard gets you an automatic win. Although if you watch Sunday Night Football, maybe getting 1 yard's a lot to ask. Caleb Williams, not good, but hey, it's early. It's early. Only 2 starts for him. But 4 weeks of free W's. Don't miss the deal on Prize Picks because it's gone when September ends. And Prize Picks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy so that your lineup stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves in the first and doesn't return, Prize Picks, you are still alive. That's because they love you and they care about you at Prize Picks. How many people can say that? But you got to download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 instantly when you play $5. Let's go, Locked On MLB on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. Okay, so many comments to get into, and I love everybody getting into the action in the comments, commemorating, commiserating, rallying around one another, being a community. That's what it's all about on the Locked On Sports Detroit postcast page, and that's why we launched this channel, so we could have our voices heard on the instant reaction, because that's what it's all about. All right. Couple people commenting on the remaining schedule. That's right. The Tigers will close out the regular season against the Chicago White Sox at home. Get your tickets now. And you know what? I think that's a great place to go from here, because the Tigers, 2 more left against Kansas City. We know that Tarek Skubal is pitching on Wednesday. Tomorrow it will be Casey Mize against Cole Reagans. That will be a good matchup. Casey Mize 2-6 on the season, 4.47 ERA. He hasn't been great, but the last couple times out, he's been enough. He's given this team a chance to win, and sometimes that is all you can ask for. And I know that's it's a lot to say, hey, just go out there, give our team a chance to win. But that's what you're looking for from Casey Mize. And I am optimistic that the momentum and everything that this team has done in the last, really the last 2 months can help every day. Every day you can start to look forward to the feeling of going to the ballpark or tuning in, just knowing your team has a chance. And that's what it's all about. Okay. Let's continue to look at the wild card standings. That's how we're going to wrap up. So the Twins, 79-71, they own the tiebreaker. Tigers, a game and a half back. Mariners, 77-73, they're 2 games back. A little bit of a jump. Red Sox, 75-75, 4 games back. Rays, who the Tigers will play at Comerica Park before the White Sox, 73-77, 6 games back. So there you have it. So much going on, and wow, what else could you ask for? That's the best part. And I do want to remind everyone that with all this momentum, we would be remiss if we didn't thank you for your support of Locked On Sports Detroit. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel and tell a friend to subscribe. We want to reach 1,000 subscribers before the conclusion of the regular season. So that's our goal. I truly believe we can get there. Tell a friend, like today's video as well. All that helps us out a great deal. The YouTube gods, you know what, they beat to the sound of their own drum, and they gotta see all that interaction going on rather than us just talking ball like we do. But point being, Tigers get the win tonight. It's going to continue to be an exciting series at Kauffman Stadium. We're going to be dialed in. We're going to be right back here tomorrow night at the conclusion of Game 2 of the series with Casey Mize going for the Detroit Tigers. But tonight, what a win. 7-6, the final. Tigers come from behind after falling behind 4-0 and 5-1, and they outlast the Kansas City Royals for the 7-6 win, now 78-73 on the season. And got to give a shout out. I mentioned the bullpen, but I did not mention Brenan Hanifee by name. He gets the win tonight. Jason Foley gets the save, and the rest of the bullpen doing a great job as well. I mean, Will Vest made it, made us sweat quite a bit, as did Bo Brisky, but they both get holds. And even Sean Gunther coming in early, probably earlier than expected, with Reese Olson only going 2 1/3 and weathering the storm a little bit. So it was a total team effort tonight, and that's what it takes to win in September and win in the midst of a postseason race. And the Tigers are just a game and a half back from the Twins, who own the tiebreaker. But man, what an exciting race ahead. That's going to do it for me tonight. Thanks so much to everybody that tuned in, our biggest show of the year. And thanks for those that have been tuning in since we launched this back in April. Sincerely appreciate all the support. And again, go ahead and subscribe and tell a friend to subscribe, because the fun is just getting started. Tigers win this one 7-6. We'll be back tomorrow night following the conclusion of Tigers Royals in Game 2 of a pivotal series at Kauffman Stadium. Until then, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time on Locked On Tigers POSTCAST.